Hello, welcome to this workshop on KPIs here today. I'm excited to be with you. This is the final session in our AI Foundation series. And if you haven't seen the other two, please come reach out to me at rick@rickjanson.com, and I'll make sure you get recordings of those or get invitations to the next time we do them live. So this is the final session in our AI Foundation series. And today's session is all about the KPIs we've talked about for the last few sessions. This idea of becoming an AI-powered company with this simple formula. People times process equals results. And even better, AI-powered people times AI-powered process equals AI-powered results. So today we're going to focus on the KPI session. After today's session, I'm going to be posting a text file in the chat or sending one to participants. So it's only a single text file, and if it's going to include the protocol or program, as we're going to call it, as you'll see for a second in this workshop. So when you watch this recording, make sure you can open that up. And now just make sure you've got it open. You don't need to do anything with it yet. I'm going to assume now you're watching the recording. And for those of you following along with me live. So we're going to get into that in just a minute. So here's what you're going to learn today. We're going to talk about creating and using programs, which is the next iteration beyond prompts and protocols. We're going to talk about how to map KPIs to roles using AI. And then we're going to show you how to actually interact with chatGPT to help it become your personal performance coach. So those are the three things we're going to cover today. So just quickly, a little bit about me, in case you weren't here for the last couple of sessions. So for the last 20 years, I had a law degree, an MBA. I was a practicing attorney, and I've been a realtor. I've been helping salespeople learn faster. I've been a sales trainer, been a sales coach, nationally certified by a number of different companies. Then in 2023, and God willing for the next 15 years, I've started helping executives and entrepreneurs and realtors learn and implement AI in their business. Now, trust me, this has been an exhilarating ride for me, and I'm excited to be teaching you all of the things that I've been learning in my journey. And hopefully it can be useful in yours as well. Why use ChatGPT in KPIs? So let's first talk about KPIs in general there for a minute. So there's a lot of benefits, a lot of benefits that come along with both tracking KPIs and creating performance plans on the back of those KPIs and for the organization. There are benefits to the organization, and there's also benefits to you personally in the setup for the organization. It helps create visibility to things that matter most. It creates accountability around why and who should be performing at certain levels. And then finally, and I'd say most importantly, it creates predictability around training results. Because when you stack up the right KPIs together that lead up to the end results that your organization wants, you get predictability and what the outcome is. So here are a few books you might want to consider diving into if you're interested in learning more about the kind of reasons why KPIs will be important for the organization or for yourself as an individual. It's going to create clear expectations for what you're responsible for accomplishing. It's a highly engaging process. And if you've ever done this before, you'll know that having seen the score and understanding where the work that you're doing is making an impact, it's a highly engaging process. And sometimes it's a little bit scary. But overall, it's a highly engaging process. And then in terms of development, is going to help you clearly see and make progress towards the areas where you need to be developing the most in your current role and also in future roles. So one of the things that we've found in going into the depths of AI and specifically generative AI is that ChatGPT can automate a lot of the things that tracking KPIs typically involve. So both coming up with KPIs and creating training around the KPIs and doing coaching around those KPIs, analyzing and creating insights. There's so many things that ChatGPT can kind of compress and automate that it now becomes feasible that every single person in the organization would have KPIs attached to their role. And they were going to use those to make the entire organization better. So let's talk about creating your KPIs. The idea behind this entire program that we put together and we've been talking about for the last few sessions is not in the world right now. There are a lot of people in the world talking about AI. And that's some people are starting to use AI. The even smaller portion of people are starting to apply it to their roles. And this nice little tiny blue dot here down in the middle of this diagram is people that are actually using AI to help make their roles go better, faster, and cheaper. And so what the opportunity is for you and your organization right now is there are very few organizations who have figured out how to do this. How do you actually use AI to help people make their roles get better, faster, and cheaper? And if you fast forward into a few years from now, you will find out that the winners out of all of this AI revolution are going to be the ones that start working on it now. And we've talked about that in the last couple of workshops. And yeah, you've heard it said before in our previous workshops, and we'll say it again. Your job is not going to be replaced by AI. That's not what this is all about. This is not about figuring out how to put yourself out of a job. This is about figuring out how to stay relevant, to stay productive, because the people that will replace your job are the people that are using AI. And so those are the people and employees that are going to be most valuable in the economy over the next couple of years. So we're here to help you become more creative and more productive. And ultimately, that's the ultimate win-win for your organization, because the organization is going to benefit, but you're going to benefit dramatically throughout this as well. So we're going to actually put this prompt into ChatGPT right now. This one's a quick one, so I posted directly here, and I'm going to put it in the comments for people who are watching later. What we want you to do right now is grab this prompt, right? Just copy and paste this and put it into your instance of ChatGPT. Now you're going to edit your role, you're going to edit your industry and size, right? And then you're going to paste what you're looking for. And what we're looking for is 10 activity-based KPIs that might be relevant for you to choose from, along with descriptions about how they will help the company reach the company's goals. So we're going to take 3 to 5 minutes right now, and your job is to identify 10 activity-based KPIs. Then what we want you to do is to rank those in order of priority. Which ones do you think are most important? And maybe you can actually chunk it down to 3 to 5 that you would actually like to start tracking right now. Now, it's important to point out here today that this is an iterative process. You don't need to get it exactly right. Today, the goal is just to get started. And that's a critical thing. You don't need to get it exactly right. So if you're not getting exactly what you need out of ChatGPT right now, or you think, hey, I want to talk to my boss before I know which one of these to use, that's perfectly okay. But for the exercise today, let's boil it down to 3 to 5 that you think would be critical for you to do now. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in ChatGPT. So you have an example of me doing it, and then I'm going to share my screen. And I've opened this up, and the company I'm going to use right now is an IoT company. And I was like, IoT, that was my example. You might not know what that is. I wanted to make sure ChatGPT knew that, because ChatGPT's knowledge base cuts off at 2021. So first of all, I just went in, I started a chat in ChatGPT 4. You can do this in 3.5. But I said, do you know what an IoT company is and does? And so ChatGPT demonstrated that it had knowledge of the industry. Okay. So now we're going to take that prompt, and I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to just copy and paste that out of my presentation. All right. So I'm going to copy and paste that in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say let's say I am a CMO. So I'm going to put that in here. The CMO I'm going to put in this specifically for an IoT company providing end-to-end solutions in the smart building, smart city, and smart factory or smart industrial space. You're utilizing LoRaWAN. Okay, this is a very specific example because I want to show you how granular this can get. So then I'm going to say, please suggest 10 activity-based KPIs that might be relevant for me to choose from, along with the descriptions of how they will help the company reach their goals. And if I can there we go. So we're going to see, as the chief marketing officer, ChatGPT knew that. Here are 10 activity-based key performance indicators. And what we're looking to do here, and you're going to put in whatever your role is in your industry. And again, your job is going to be to pick the 3 to 5 KPIs that you believe are going to be the most relevant to your role right now. So when you're looking at these KPIs right now, you'll notice they're very high level, sort of abstract, because this is doing it for a C-suite executive. But when you put in your role in the organization, the most likely you're going to get something a little bit more specific, right? So let us say, if I put this back in, and this is talking about churn rate and net promoter score, social media engagement, website traffic, sales cycle length. These are very good KPIs. And what you're going to do is kind of dive into one of these. But now let's say I'm going to go into the same thing. And let's say you're going to hire a marketing manager. And you want to know, what is a marketing manager supposed to do and what are the KPIs for a marketing manager? So let's put in marketing manager and see how that changes the KPIs. Do we get more granular, more specific? So here again, we're our C-suite, our CMO KPIs. And then as we jump down, and you can use this little arrow to jump to the bottom of a chat. This might be interrupted a little bit by internet speed. So you can see here at the CMO level, Chief Marketing Officer, these are a little higher, a little more vague, but still stuff that you can go into with great granular detail. If you want to measure your monthly recurring revenue, your churn rate, your net promoter score, these are things that a CMO is going to be tracking. But let's say you were going to hire a marketing manager. Now, this might be a little more specific, right? So now, what is a marketing manager? What are 10 good KPIs for a marketing manager? How are we going to dive into this? And in other sessions we've done, what are the roles, what are the responsibilities, what are the SOPs? But these are the KPIs, right? How are you going to actually measure this job? And you might use this to help craft a job posting, which we can help you with as well. So what we want to talk about now is how you can start getting ChatGPT to become your performance coach. And the first step in this is documenting your KPI. So I want you to select one of your KPIs right now, and I want you to open up your favorite spreadsheet. Just take any one of those from up above, one of the 10. And this can be Google Docs, it can be Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, whatever you want to do. And you're simply going to start documenting some of these KPIs. So I've created a demo sheet right here in Google Docs, and I've created a sales tracking, right? So a sales rep might have calls made, follow-ups, demos scheduled, deals closed, and making some comments, right? This is one of the KPIs they're tracking. And we're going to focus on this. But now in yours, you're going to go ahead and list your 3 to 5 KPIs in the columns. In the first column and dates, and then we want to have your comments, right? So the idea here is that on a daily or weekly basis, ideally daily, frequently is better, right? Weekly will work as well. But we want to start documenting both how the results went for that day or that week, and then place in some comments. And the comment section are really going to help track ChatGPT, get some context for how you think things are going so that it can give you some more tailored advice. And you'll see how ChatGPT becomes your performance coach here in just a second with the program that we write. Remember, program is beyond prompt and protocol. So you're going to want to go ahead and create that. And you don't need to finish this now, but this is where you're going to get your data from in order to make this process work. So what I want to do is I'm going to show you now, and if you follow along, I've given you some sample data in the text that I sent to you, but a program is distinct from a prompt because a prompt is something that you input into ChatGPT and you get an output from. And typically it's unstructured and you're just asking ChatGPT questions. And there are a lot of very useful prompts that you can use as we keep talking about doing things better, faster, and cheaper. But this program, or in the last session we ran, talks about protocols. And a protocol is giving an input to judge the team. And because you've given previous instructions, it's going to give you a standardized output. And that's great for creating training documents. As an example, and that's one of the things we covered in another session, but now we're moving into programs. And this is giving instructions into ChatGPT, which will then have it become an interactive program. It interacts with you either, and a couple of steps back and forth, sometimes in many, many different steps. And the idea here is that it's fun and it's going to be an interactive experience. So you're going to create a program that we're going to give you that program to have ChatGPT become your KPI coach. Now imagine having AI analyze your sales data and then coach you. And we're going to not just think about this program, but other programs that you could be creating or be useful to you and your company to interact with. And that's what the idea of a program actually is. So this is going to be an example of a program. And we've got 1,002 KPIs and programs and protocols built out. And we can talk about that at another time. So remember, what we're doing here in this next step is making ChatGPT your performance coach and documenting KPIs. So I'm going to switch over here to the text document that we send to you. Okay. So this is an example of the program and the one we're going to be talking about today. So my name is, and insert your name, and I'm a blank at a blank. So for here, I'm just going to use a sales rep for a small manufacturing company. And I'm going to give it some instruction and ask it to act like a world-class performance coach for me. And your name is Coach. Your tone should be professional, but encouraging. Now, if you want to change it to something interesting or more fun, you could, or if you wanted to berate you, you could ask it to be snarky and condescending as an example. We're going to stick with professional. And so encouraging. And when you're creating a program, telling it is not to do something, yet it is a good thing so that it will just pause and wait for your instructions. So this is going to be a two-step interaction. Step one is to start the coaching session. And whenever I give you the command /data, and this /data is just designed as a command so that when we import those letters and that data in a format that allows us to just cut and paste it into ChatGPT, ChatGPT will remember that this is what we're supposed to do next, right? So this is just going to be a shorthand or a shortcut for us to be able to create a step in the process. Like if you sign with an email, quote unquote, to give me insights, you will pull from the data along with 3 things that I consider trying today with specific instructions on how to do it. Now, this is an interesting point to start by, because if you wanted to do this for your team, let's say you have direct reports, you could tailor this program to run and create an email that you could send to your team and to your direct reports. And so this is going to help you become a better coach as well. So this is not just for you. You could use this for your direct reports and look at their data and create some encouraging emails that will help you become a better manager. So this is a flexible program, and I want you to kind of keep seeing how this can work. And then we're going to give some sample data. So we're showing you sample data, which is what I showed you in the spreadsheet earlier. And now I'm going to give it some rules for the first step. So we're asking you to reference world-renowned experts in the area of a tactic or strategy, or suggesting along with a book they have written on the topic. Now, you could potentially remove the book suggestion if you'd like, but what we're trying to get here is to get ChatGPT to encourage you with expertise and advice. For each action step, give step-by-step instructions on how to execute. And the fact that we're suggesting what we're trying to give you here is this performance coach is things that you can go and do as opposed to things to think about. So we want to make this super practical so you can pick this up and then go and execute quickly, because that is ultimately, of course, what is going to help you drive your KPIs up and to the right, doing things and not thinking about them. And then we want to give it an output. So we're going to give it a sample output. And so what you'll learn here is how we would like to see the output. But basically, you're going to see that it's going to produce a pretty structured output that will easily allow you to figure out how you might want to implement this next. So that's the step one. And that's typically what we would do in a protocol. So if we stopped there, that would be a protocol or an input that creates a standardized output. But now what we're going to do is ask ChatGPT to interact with us based on the output. So step 2 is a follow-up interaction at the end of step 1. Asked me if it liked more information on the topic by answering the number of /letter of the step. And then we're giving it some rules here to follow, only give a follow-up instruction if it's requested in the follow-on interactions. And your reference to a number letter combination should refer back to the original email for the day. So as you're creating programs in your day-to-day, you're going to find like, oh, here's a use case where I can write a program for myself. You want to make sure that these rules are basically, as you're iterating on creating these programs, right? You're fine-tuning it so that it gets exactly what you want. So as an example, when this rule that I've put into the program solves a problem where I was referring back to some other things in the chat, We're just trying to make sure that it knows exactly what to refer back to for the follow-up interaction. Please give a summary of the book you're referencing and move into the step-by-step instructions for the follow-up. For the follow-up interaction, do not give numbered lists, write in prose, and instead you'll see that sometimes it does not follow your commands exactly, and that'll be part of your process of doing the follow-up. But let me give it a sample here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually copy and paste this entire section, this entire program into ChatGPT. So I'm going to transfer this over, and I'm just going to put this right into the previous chat we were working with, right? So I'm going to post that right in here. I'm going to paste that whole thing and hit enter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our spreadsheet where we've been tracking our KPIs. And for the sake of example, I just said we're a salesperson, but I'm going to copy this data and I'm going to go back into ChatGPT. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say /data. And this is whatever KPI you're tracking, right? I'm going to copy and paste that in, and I'm just going to hit enter. And here is where we get the coaching. It's creating a detailed action plan for my day. You can see how this also makes you a better manager if you were sending this out to your direct reports, if you had access to the KPIs that they're tracking, and you could input their data into here and send out emails on this. We've got a strong correlation between follow-ups and the deals, creating some insights based on the data itself. And it's also taking into account some of the comments and the unstructured comments and then making correlations between what happens and the data. And now it's also giving detailed action steps for what I might want to do next. So I might want to enhance my follow-up techniques, improve closing strategies, and optimize my demo scheduling. And then it's giving me some experts in those areas that I can choose from. Now, from a practical perspective, if you're looking at the suggestions on what you might want to do next, from a practical perspective, you might just want to pick one of those things, right? Not all of them, and just implement it and see how it impacts your KPIs over time. So this is an iterative process. We're not looking for you to take everything and do everything. It's pick one of those things and try to focus on that one thing. So let's just say I agree I've got to enhance my follow-up techniques and I want to tailor my follow-up messages for this specific need. So what I'm going to say here, I want more information on 1D. That seems like a good next step for me to do. So now what it's going to do is tell me a little bit more specifics around the particular idea. And it's going to give me, if we can scroll down here, what it's giving me is a little more specifics and clear step-by-step instructions for how I can actually go and implement. And so what I might do in my interaction for the next day is go back to my KPI spreadsheet and say, I'm going to implement some of the techniques from this book and input the book. So again, I'm letting ChatGPT know that I'm actually doing the things that I'm doing and how it's impacting the data as a place for us to learn from. So whether we see things are going up or to the right, or if they're not going in the right direction, ChatGPT is going to learn you're trying things and it's not working. So the issue must be somewhere else. And so this is an example of a very simple program. It's a two-step program. You could continue to do this if you want to keep exploring and say we didn't like that step-by-step process. We could say, okay, let's go look at one and let's go on and do something different over time. And you might consider creating more and more sophisticated programs. But for now, this is a really practical way to get into understanding this kind of how this kind of technology works and how you might use it in a real practical way to help you drive results and come performance review time, look like a rock star. So that's basically what we are here to do today. We found 10 key KPIs for your job, whether it's C-suite or lower level manager, director, could do that for any position. And then how to track the data on those KPIs and then train ChatGPT to go beyond prompt, go beyond protocol, to becoming a program and an interactive coach and mentor for you that gives you step-by-step granular details based off of experts in the field of sales or marketing or whatever you're into, how to actually implement and increase your KPIs so that you can increase the performance of your company as a whole, if everybody's doing this and tracking this, so you can become a better manager by giving better guidance to people that you supervise. And so that you as an individual can look like a rock star come performance review. If you'd like more detail on our other sessions or how to implement this at your company, just feel free to call me at 303-589-2320 or book a call at www.aicertified.co. Thanks so much for attending today's session. Hope you got a lot out of it. God bless you.